자, 이번 시간에는 컴플릿 마켓 세팅에서 어떤 식으로 에셋 프라이싱이 결정되는지 보겠습니다. 먼저 컴플릿 마켓 세팅을 이해하기 위해서 간단한 discrete state 스페이스를 보고요. 이 세팅에서 어떤 식으로 스토캐스틱 디스카운트 팩터가 결정되는지, 그리고 또 리스크 뉴트럴 프라이싱에도 연결을 시킬 것이고요. 간단한 이그젬플을 본 다음에 컨티뉴어스 타임 세팅에서 어떤 식으로 연결이 되는지 보겠습니다. So in today's lecture, we will cover the pricing in complete markets. We will see how stochastic discount factor is derived in this setting, how that can be mapped into risk neutral pricing, and also an example, and we will conclude with a continuous time analogy. Okay, so we will assume that there are S possible states of nature that can occur tomorrow. 자, 무슨 말이냐면요. 미래에 예를 들어서 S가 3이면 미래에 오늘 여러분들이 있고요. 미래에 이렇게 세 가지 경우의 아웃컴이 일어날 수 있다고 가정을 하는 거예요. 예를 들어서 제일 앞에가 S1 state, S2 state, or S3 states. Okay? So we will assume there are total of capital S possible states that can occur tomorrow. And we will bring in contingent claim. Contingent claim is just a security that pays $1 only in one state S. And PCS is the price today of that contingent claim. 자, 이게 무슨 말이냐면요. 이런 뜻입니다. 자, 앞에 여기서 본 이그젬플처럼 세 가지 경우가 있을 때 다음과 같은 경우들을 생각할 수 있어요. 첫 번째 경우는 이와 같은 컨팅전 클레임을 생각할 수 있고요. 두 번째는 제일 위에 스테이트에서는 페이오프가 0이고 가운데 스테이트에서 페이오프가 1, 그리고 마지막 스테이트에서 페이오프가 0. 그리고 마지막 케이스에서는 위에 두 아웃컴 스테이트에서는 페이오프가 0이고 마지막 스테이트에서만 페이오프가 1인 경우 이렇게 있겠죠. 그러면 이 각각 이 세 개의 다른 시큐리티들을 우리가 컨티니언트 클레임이라고 부르는 거예요. 첫 번째 컨티니언트 클레임, 두 번째 컨티니언트 클레임, 세 번째 컨티니언트 클레임. 즉 각각의 컨티니언트 클레임은 각 하나의 스테이트에서만 $1를 페이업하고 나머지 스테이트에서는 $0를 페이업합니다. So in this case, we have three contingent claims because there are three states of the world. And the price of these contingent claims are called price of the contingent claim for the first one, price of the contingent claim for the second one, and the price of the contingent claim for the third one. 그리고 각 스테이트에 대해서 probability가 있겠죠. 각 스테이트이 어떤 식으로 realize 할 것인가. 예를 들어서 probability가 2분의 1, 4분의 1, 4분의 1인 경우 그런 경우 우리는 이 possible probability state를 이런 식으로 쓸 수가 있습니다. 오케이. 자, 그러면 정리해서 제가 다시 한번 설명을 해볼게요. 자, 봅시다. So suppose there are three states in the world. Okay? And these three states have the following probability of realization. 즉 각각의 스테이트가 이와 같은 확률로 나타날 수 있는 거예요. 예를 들면 up state, middle state, and the down state. 예를 들어서 up state는 예를 들어서 good state, 경기가 좋아지는 state. Middle state is say normal state. And the bottom state can be a bad state. 이렇게 예상할 수 있죠. 자, 그러면 우리가 contingent claim들을 볼 수 있어요. contingent claim들을 이렇게 봅시다. So there are three states of the world, so there should be three contingent claims. What are they? These contingent claims are the first contingent claim pays off only in the good state of the world. The second contingent claim pays off only in the normal state of the world. And the third contingent claim pays off only in the bad state of the world. Okay? 그리고 각각 이 contingent claim들에서 가격이 존재하죠. And we call their prices as contingent claim that pays only in the up state, contingent claim that pays in the down state, and the contingent claim that pays only in the third state. Okay? So in this sense, the good state is when this is when S is 1. I mean, this is the number of state is capital letter S. The normal state is the second state, and the bad state is the third state. Okay. So that was an example of a complete market because there are three states of the world and three contingent claims are available. So in a complete market, investors can buy any contingent claims. So there are enough number of securities so that all contingent claims can be synthesized. In other words, in the previous example, there are three possible states. So at least three different securities should be available so that investors can synthesize any contingent claims. Let's take a look at the following example with two assets. Okay? So we have two assets, X1 and X2, whose payoffs are given like this. Okay? In a two-state world. So states S can be either 1 or 2. Okay? These two span any possible contingent claims. So what's the meaning of that? 자, 이 경우가 어떤 경우죠? So suppose in a different world. So now we are in a different world. No longer consider the previous example. Now in a different world where we have the following contingent claims. The first payoff, first asset, I'm sorry, these are not contingent claims, but these are just some assets. There are two states and two assets, X1 and X2. So whose payoffs are given like in the up state is going to pay 2 and 1. So this is payoff X1. And the second payoff, the payoff of the second asset is going to be like that. Okay? And these two assets can span any possible claims. In what sense? In the first example, now can you make a risk-free asset? So what is the risk-free asset in this case? Risk-free asset should pay some fixed amount, same amounts across all different states. Therefore, X2 itself is the risk-free asset. So the risk-free asset can be synthesized. Okay. Now, what about the contingent claims? Can you synthesize the contingent claims like this? Okay. Yes, that is possible. The first contingent claim can be synthesized as X1 minus X2, which is, okay. What about 0, 1? Okay. 0, 1 is simply X2 minus the contingent claim on the first state. So that's okay. So in this fashion, you can generate all contingent claims. And in this case, we call it the market is complete. And in the next example, now, if the price of the contingent claims are given like this, the contingent claim on the first state has the price of 0.3, and the price of the contingent claim on the second state is 0.5. What is the price of the three things, X1, X2, and the risk-free asset? Okay, so the contingent claim has the following prices. Okay. Now, the price of X1 should be, so how can you make X1 using the two contingent claims? Okay. X1 is basically 2 times plus 1 times the other contingent claim. Therefore, the price of this X at S1, X1 should be 2 times 0.3 plus 1 times 0.5. Okay. Therefore, the price is 1.1. And you can do the pricing for the other assets in a similar fashion. Now, we will assume that all contingent claim prices PC are strictly positive for any possible states whose probability is positive. And we need this condition to prevent there's any arbitrage opportunities. Then we will show that if there are complete contingent claims, a discount factor exists, and it is equal to the contingent claim price divided by the probabilities. 자, 앞으로 contingent claim price는 항상 양수라고 strictly positive라고 가정을 할 거예요. If the probability of the state is strictly positive as well. 왜냐하면 만약에 contingent claim price가 negative인 state가 나오게 되면 no arbitrage 컨디션에 반하게 됩니다. 즉 어떤 state가 negative price다. 그러면 어떻게 하겠어요? 그 state에 대해서 short을 하면 되죠. 그러면 항상 positive payoff를 오늘 받고 숏을 했으니까 프라이스를 내가 테이크하는 거죠. 그리고 미래에 그 스테이트가 리얼라이즈 되게 되면 또 페이오프를 받게 되고, 즉 아비트라지 어퍼튜니티가 가능하기 때문에 컨티뉴엄 클레임 프라이스는 항상 포지티브하다고 가정을 할 겁니다. 자, 컴플릿 마켓 케이스에서 우리는 디스카운트 팩터가 존재하고 그 디스카운트 팩터는 컨티뉴엄 클레임 프라이스를 각 스테이시 리얼라이즈 되는 확률로 나눈 값이 될 거라는 것을 보게 될 거예요. 자, 그럼 좀 더 디테일하게 봅시다. Now the X of S, which is the payoff of an asset in the state of S. Okay. So an asset that pays X1 and X2 is a bundle of X1 contingent claims to state 1 and X2 contingent claims to state 2. In other words, any payoff in a complete market can be synthesized or generated by combining the contingent claim. 자, 그래서 2,3이라는 번들이 있을 때 payoff bundle. So when you have a payoff bundle that pays you 2 and 3 in the first and the second state respectively, 그러면 이러한 payoff는 두 개의 contingent claim을 각각 2개를 사고 아니면 3개를 사고 해서 synthesize를 할 수 있죠. In other words, this payoff 2, 3 can be synthesized using 2 times the contingent claim on the first state and 3 times and the contingent claim on the second state. Okay? then the price of the asset is simply based on the number of the contingent claims that you used. Okay? So what is the price of this payoff 2, 3 when the contingent claim prices are given 0.5 and 0.3? And this is simply 2 times 0.5 plus 3 times 0.3. 자, 그런데 컨팅전 클레임이라는 게 사실은 개념적으로는 이해하기 쉽지만 실제로는 잘 와닿지가 않거든요. 그러면 우리가 보통 생각하는 건 어떻게, 보통 우리가 이제 프라이싱을 생각할 때 어떤 식으로 생각합니까? 프라이싱. Pricing is usually thought of as discounted cash flows, right? Discounted future cash flows. Okay? And when we say cash flow is the expected cash flows, right? 즉 기대 수익률에 대해서 우리가 계산을 하기 때문에 이런 식으로 컨티넨트 클레임들을 이용해서 다 곱해서 더해주는 것보다는 expectation을 취해주는 게 훨씬 더 intuitive해요. It's much more intuitive to use expectations, right? To use expectations, you have to multiply by the probabilities, right? So here what we are doing is that we are multiplying the probability of the state and dividing it too. Then it becomes a simple expectations operator. 여기 확률을 각각 스테이트에 대한 확률을 곱해주고 나눠줌으로써 expectation을 바꿀 수가 있죠. 자, 그럼 무슨 말이냐? 우리가 앞에서 봤던 세 가지 경우가 있던 state. So what was the example that we saw initially? That was the case of 3 different states and whose probabilities are given like this. 그러면 각각 스테이트에 대한 확률과 각각의 페이오프들이 있었죠. 페이오프들이 있고 그럼 이 페이오프들에 대해서 expectation을 취하면 되는데 여기서 the key is that 그냥 expectation을 취하는 게 아니라 즉 캐시플로우죠. 캐시플로우에 대해서 expectation을 취하는데 그냥 취하는 게 아니라 이 숫자를 곱해줘야 돼요. In other words, what does it say? It says that price is equal to some expectation of the cash flows, but not just the cash flows, but the cash flows should be multiplied by this amount. Contingent claim price divided by the probabilities. Okay? So that is the key of the pricing. Does this look familiar to you? It is indeed familiar, right? So if I rewrite the previous expression, that was expectation taken with respect to the contingent claim price divided by the probabilities times the x, right? So that was the price, okay? And if we set the contingent claim price divided by the probabilities as, if we define it as the stochastic discount factor of this economy, then it becomes the same old equation that we saw in the previous classes, right? So in a complete market, stochastic discount factor just follows, okay, as the ratio between the contingent claim price and the probability of the state. 자, 무슨 말이냐? 컨팅전 클레임이 주어지고 컴플릿 마켓일 때 스토캐스틱 디스카운트 팩터는 이렇게 주어지게 됩니다. 즉 따라서 컴플릿 마켓 상황에서는 스토캐스틱 디스카운트 팩터가 존재하게 되죠. Therefore, in a complete market, the stochastic discount factor exists, which is contingent claim price divided by the probability of the state, which is a set of contingent claims, which is the set of contingent claims, which is the set of contingent claim prices scaled by the probabilities. Okay, so from this setting, we were able to obtain the stochastic discount factor, but it might not be that intuitive yet. So we will take a look at the example in the next slide, and also we will relate it to the risk neutral pricing. Then it will become more intuitive.